Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far. Now, given that there's a lot of things happening between Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas working together as a trio of a team, if you will, really working in conjunction with a lot of the Disney executives high up there, that's really trying to create a better future for the Star Wars franchise and really setting it in motion. We know that to this day, there's still a shakeup happening between the executives and Bob Iger, basically where Star Wars is going to go. We know that Bob Iger has one goal in mind, is that he wants to focus on Star Wars movies being the main thing again, instead of the Star Wars shows on Disney+. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So there's a lot of things happening with everything related to the whole Gina Carano situation, right? It's been well over 2 years since she was fired by Kathleen Kennedy, and this dates back to like February to March of 2021. And ever since then, there's been a lot of, fan division. We've seen a lot of fans remain divided, especially over the Gina situation and the exclusion of Cara Dune from Mando Season 3. Now, we know that based on dialogue provided by, of course, the Mandalorian Season 3 in there, we do and are informed that basically Cara Dune was promoted to Special Forces, alright? So she was brought into Special Forces, and that's all we really know about her absence. So that was basically their way of saying this is why she's gone and in-universe, right? So, on top of this, we know that also they have extensive plans on how to bring Gina Carano back. We know that characters like Din Djarin, Grogu, Bo-Katan are going to remain the focus of The Mandalorian Season 4 and onwards. So Din Djarin, alright, was supposed, and we talked about this also, that he was supposed to appear in Skeleton Crew that no longer came out to be because of Kathleen Kennedy. However, since Gina Carano was fired well over 2 years ago now, the fans have remained divided over Disney's direction of Star Wars. However, Jon and Dave have been pulling through with many of their recent Star Wars shows that have yet to have been announced that spells great news for actress Gina. It's described that Disney is now moving ahead with full-fledged plans to revive Rangers of the New Republic into a new show with a different title that will hold the original spirit of the project, that is aimed to bring back Cara Dune as one of the main characters, and that many of the Disney executives are coming to a full-on agreement to welcome back Gina Carano to return into her role in her very own show, that will also focus on legacy characters like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and yes, even Leia, plus other characters in relation to the Rebellion, as well as a story of an earlier time for the character of Din Djarin. Now, though this project won't arrive on Disney Plus until a couple of years from now, the return of Cara Dune is moving in full swing, with Gina obtaining the role once again. However, other Disney executives, at no surprise, that are loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, are already challenging her return, informing the board that Gina's return would only do more damage to the franchise and hurt the fan base more. Let me pause right here before I get to the next bit about all of this, is that okay, so I'm not really shocked or surprised here that there are a handful of executives that are loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, that are challenging this and want nothing to do with Gina's return. This is pretty much a given. We all expected this to happen. We all expect executives to kind of not agree with other ones, and that's why there's still a shakeup to this day involving Disney Star Wars, so I'm not really shocked about that. I'm really not. But when you look at scenarios like this, where you have a character like Cara Dune, where there's so many supporters of this character, and there's also so many supporters of Gina Carano as an actress, some executives are seeing the positive out of this, of bringing her back, meanwhile other executives are seeing the negative. The great news about this is that the majority of executives are actually in favor of bringing Gina back on board for Rangers of the New Republic, which, like I said before, it's going to get a brand new title, a revised script, but it's going to stay the same story in spirit. And what I mean by that is that Rangers is going to take place just days after Return of the Jedi, aka Episode 6, leading up to 1 whole year later during the age of the Battle of Jakku. So that's another thing to be very much knowledgeable about. If you guys have not really learned all that much about the Battle of Jakku, I think it really is a great way to invest your time in, because it really does give you information about the full final fall of the Empire before they split up into different factions, so to speak. So everything related to Gina's return is that this has been an ongoing, very complex process between the executives, John, George, Dave, really trying to make this happen and really kind of moving things forward. So this is another thing that, they're trying to really get in motion, and it is moving forward finally. Given that they want to get Rangers back on board, it is now actually greenlit to be reformed and revised into something new, but like I said, staying the same in spirit, moving on. So the next thing, of course, given that, of course, the other executives completely disagree and see this as a great opportunity, not just for merchandise, but also for great headlines to promote themselves as correcting their wrongs. The plans for the show are set to become final by this August, and it's then, and only then, when Gina will have to decide if she wants to come back for the role or not. John and Dave have already created storyboards for the revised version of Cara Dune, and how she has a brand new design that is placed just after the events of Return of the Jedi, just by a couple of days, giving fans a different view of the character in the lead up to the Battle of Jakku. Now, here's another thing that I think fans need to absolutely be aware of, is the fact that Rangers of the New Republic, the revised version, is indeed going to have a lot to do with the inclusion, of course, of legacy characters. We're talking about Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, the droids, stuff like that, Lando Calrissian, all that fun stuff. And believe it or not, Rangers was supposed to have a large connection to the Lando series. It was supposed to have a lot of connections to that. Now, we know that the Lando series has been in limbo right now for a very long time, and there have been a couple of changes to the overall story in the meantime, while Donald has been very held up with his work and really doing a lot of other projects. Disney has since been changing some things related to the Lando series, so it really makes you wonder how well connected it will still remain to Rangers to this day. But this is great news about Gina, because a large portion of the executives want her back and are giving her a shot to accept this agreement by this August. Once the story is fleshed out, once they have a concrete plan on exactly when they want to release this and exactly where in the timeline, where in the actual roadmap, when is it going to release, like before or after a said project, right? So that's another thing that they do have to figure out, because of some delays related to the Acolyte, creating a domino effect for other shows out there. Obviously this is another Kathleen Kennedy problem, creating a domino effect, not a surprise. But overall, I think that fans would welcome her back in open arms, even if she did come back. And given that there's a lot of haters that do not like Gina Carano, that's fine and all. Everyone's open to their own opinion. At the end of the day, this is a show that's going to add more to the legacy characters and Return of the Jedi, and I see it more like that. So there's a lot of great opportunities here. So overall, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.